All right, going live here. You know what? I'm not even going to wait that long. No one's going to join immediately. Matt, welcome. We're back. We're in action. Only a couple minutes late. I did set it for 12:05 by accident, anyways. But yeah, I was trying to go through every single team, and there's 12 games. Um,
Howdy.
okay,
Yeah, there's a lot of games
yeah,
today.
and
We got my cat making biscuits there, so we're off to a good start. We're all hard at work here at the Morningscape podcast.
okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting a update on something, and I'm also going to tweet this. I got it up right here. Just need to
It's a
pull up
very
the
important
YouTube.
update.
No, it's. I think I already know the answer for sure. It's just the again. I talked a lot about the puckluck.com shop profiler, and there are some things that I pointed out, and we kind of went over, me and Jay is updating them, adding a little bit more stuff that wasn't there that I asked about, and he is going to also get the Lions and the goalies and everything updated. So it's not 100% yet, but then again, most of the games are at 7, so it's really not that big of a deal. But we will go through some of it, and yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hold on.
Seems like you're off to a hot start here. Really knowing what you want to talk about.
I want to talk about all the hockey games. It's really not it's not that difficult.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
We'll just go through. Where do I want to start? Well, I mean, there's 2 games, 2 matinees. Why don't we potentially start with one of those? I'm going to share my entire screen. Wait, no. Is it window? No, it's entire screen. Entire screen 2. I'm going to start with what you always very graciously
Yes.
post in the
Yeah.
Discord. There we go. I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to take a look here first. So the slates are completely different, right? Is there any main slate with every single game or no?
No.
Didn't think so. Yeah, Columbus actually doesn't look horrendous, which is interesting for the first small slate. I would maybe attack that angle. Line A looks to be back. Line A, Gaudreau, Jenner, Fantillis, with other guys. I could pull that up. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna look at my phone. We're gonna do 2 screens at once. But the first game is that Columbus game. Any thoughts on that game in general and the early slate? Is there anything that you actually want to attack there? We can kind of get through these, I think, pretty quickly.
Well, I mean, Patrick Laine should be back, which is pretty significant. Yeah, both Columbus and Detroit are pretty weak defensively. So even though their offenses aren't overly strong, it's not a surprise to see that they each profile better than Winnipeg, Dallas, just because that matchup has 2 teams that have been performing quite well defensively. I think you were on board last podcast with the Winnipeg's not this good defensively, right? And they showed up again and did the stuff. But yeah, Dallas especially looks really good on defense. They seem to have not missed a beat, even though Jason Robertson's off to a slow start. Like the team itself is still really, really good. So, yeah, Columbus, Detroit. I think there's a lot of interesting, plays there. I was very, I guess it's not that relevant for fantasy now that Line A should be back, but I was pretty surprised to see that Adam Fantilli was carrying an iCourse per 60 of like 20 on the year. He is like 1 spot above Connor Bedard, and Connor Bedard has shot a ton. Obviously, has cooled off a little bit since the first few games of the year, where I profiled in my newsletter like how absolutely absurd it was. The numbers he had put up were literally things we hadn't seen since 2006 for a rookie. Fantilli has been really consistent. He's not getting quite as many minutes, and with Line A back, I imagine those minutes will continue to shrink. But the main thing I think is also the power play role. I'm not sure if we got power plays with Line A back in the fold, but I would imagine Line A probably takes the ice time from Fantilli there, just because Jenner, Gaudreau seem like locks to be on the power play one, and then Marchenko has typically been on there as well. So remains to be seen, I guess. I'm not sure if we have that information, but I'm at least keeping an eye on that for the 1 o'clock slate.
Yeah, I didn't find it I didn't find it myself. For power plays at least. We also don't really know for sure on Detroit because it kind of looked like Gostisbehere was going to be back in, so could keep an eye on what they do on the power play. They didn't show up, and I have to assume for sure the first power play didn't score, considering Detroit won. Absolutely was a very large fat dud. I mean, we don't need to revisit the past too much. I was sort of banging the drum a little bit for going back to Winnipeg, and I had absolutely no balls to do it. I went to what I thought would be lower owned Detroit last slate and got, you know what, mushroom stamped. I'm going to go with mushroom stamp for it. Like, not
Yeah,
only did it not
turns
get
out,
there, but it was what, quadruple the ownership I thought it would be, and
yeah,
that's just the
it
way the
was
news goes.
straight up donkey chalk because I did not expect that either. And I think the reasoning is that Jeff Petrie and Jake Wallman stood out as values, and just any optimizer that's, trained to put a D with the stack, just those values because of their newfound power play roles. They upgraded up the power play order. Each of those two did, Petrie to no power play to power play 2, and then Wallman from 2 to 1. It just, broke everything as far as the optimizers were concerned. Lucas Raymond helped as well at his low price, but yeah, it was a pretty brutal run out for you. For me, it was good, but my Thursday was very tilting regardless because Edmonton didn't show
Yeah.
up and I had the nuts otherwise. So,
Yep. That is, I remember, because I mean, I'm wearing the microwave hat right now. I'm sure everyone here is probably wondering how the microwave concert was. And it was actually the Menzingers. Like, that's the main act. I'm not going to get into it. But I got out of that, and I called you, and you were like, I actually might have a chance here. And I was like, holy crap, let's go. And then that, I believe, won the ticket, though.
yep, he
I'm sure
alpha
she's in here
swapped
now.
to he alphaed to LA1, and LA1 did, they did a lot, but they didn't like smash or anything. But just because Edmonton did absolutely nothing, he won by like 25 points. So, when you get 6 points from Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman each, that, it's not going to help. So, yeah, good for him. But I'm pretty tilted about how Thursday ran out. All things considered. So, anyway, to the Detroit side of action, I think Gostisbehere will be back. Which, yeah, throws a lot of things into flux. I honestly don't have a ton of early DraftKings slate thoughts. I think Dallas 3 is maybe where I'm gonna go for some value, but otherwise, like, we can definitely just move on to puck luck and underdog if you want to try to look through there for a slip or whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess we should mention that puck luck went, not puck luck, underdog went okay last night. Can't complain. Absolute miracle. I don't think I've ever called you and been more excited for you to answer the phone and you not answer than when
It
Tippett
was
scored that empty netter.
literally, yeah, I was literally in bed. It was like 12:47. I was just like, yeah, like, Tippett has 0
It's
shots through
over.
the third. Into the third,
Into
I'm
the
just
yeah.
not like, whatever. I'll move on. Shit happens. And all of a sudden, yeah, that, you texted me like, oh, he's at 3. I'm like, oh, cool. Oh, we got a penalty. All right, whatever. I'm just putting the phone away.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
who
yeah.
cares? And
Well,
then
and
I
I
see you
think that
called me.
I
I'm
was
like, what the
so
hell?
dude. So I'll just really quickly. I mean, it was like I am like actively, like, Leo Carson scores. I'm like, all right, they're gonna pull the goalie now. Is there any chance Tippett's out there? I feel like the answer is no. And they take a
Yeah.
draw. He's not out there. Um, Kind of like a dump in on the goalie. Harrison holds it, and I'm like, crap, I don't think they changed. And then I see a goal, and I'm like, fuck, that was not him. And then it was Owen Tippett. I was like, oh my god, why he came over the boards to kill the
Yeah.
last minute of the game. That's just But again, I think he got benched, and
Yeah,
maybe the coach was like, you're going, and like, go,
no,
like, if you want to go, go.
it's one of those
And
really
he had
weird things where Owen Tippett doesn't profile that way, but Torts is really using him in a defensive role from time to time. Like last year, and it's not necessarily the role, it's more just like he's blocking shots. And I honestly think Tortorella likes that. Like, he's one of the NHL's best forwards in terms of blocking shots. And, Tortorella, he's consistent, if nothing else. He doesn't like Morgan Frost, and I guess he likes forwards who block shots. So, yeah, shout out to us for, what was that, a 30x slip?
uh yeah, it was 30. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, wait, it can't be, but you're right, because of that the boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boost. And yeah, I mean, Matt was very instrumental, and I feel like I would have I had a lot of those already, but Matt, we talked and you were like, that hollow under is the smashiest of all smashes. And I'm like, really? I'm like, let me look at the lineup. And I'm like, oh my God, he is on like the nominal fourth line, no power play. So maybe power play too. I don't know for sure. Yeah, no, I mean, Jay just, I think he's probably watching. He also mentioned, I did see it, like it was Ghost and Petrie on the first power play in practice, but I'm a little bit
The
hesitant to
first
move
power
forward.
play?
That's what it was in practice. And I'm trying to find the
What
tweet
in
now.
the Jesus
Um,
Christ?
I did see
Yeah,
that,
here.
but I was like, I was super confused by it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I didn't say it. And I also didn't find it when I was looking through this morning.
Yeah, no,
I like then
yesterday, Perron, Larkin, DeBrincat, Gostisbehere, Petrie, second unit, Cop, Comfer, Sprong, Raymond, Cider. So, yeah, that is criminal. Okay, yeah, good call,
yeah,
Jay.
I don't get it. Yeah. Thanks. I forgot I saw that, but I thought like that can't be right. And no, I mean it is exactly it's got to be what they're gonna do. Weird. Probably Mata comes out. Who really cares? Yeah, the puck
Yeah,
luck. I mean,
so,
it's basically. I don't think there's any major edge here. Yeah, it's priced
um,
about exactly efficiently. What were you gonna say? Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
yeah, so I'm just looking through the underdog offerings right now, and
Oh
that
yeah,
makes me like David Perron a good bit. I would probably take 2 shots over 1 point, but both are maybe in play. And then honestly, the under on Lucas Raymond, JT Comfort both seem fine. Like, I get it.
yeah.
Raymond should be on the top line, so maybe Comfort's the guy there, but yeah, I don't think that's I don't think that's too bad either way. I would not put Comfer on a card with Perron, because they play together at 5-on-5. But yeah, that's I think Perron's the best gainer there, just because last game he wasn't on the top power play, and now it seems like he took Raymond's spot.
Yeah, I pulled up ours, so let's just take a quick look at that, the two games, and then we'll move on. Just again, it's like if you're using the player profiler, that's way bigger picture than what I'm looking at, which is just this season, these games, what these players are doing. So again, like I know Perron's a little bit down the list here, but definitely profiles much better as a rate shooter historically. Do I just not see him? Did I pass him? Where is Perron? I mean, he obviously isn't hitting if he's being priced down to this level. Am
You
I
could just
blind?
type in his name, but
You're
sure.
right. I could just type in his name. I could just do that.
Okay.
What is his? Okay, so under 3 attempts per game is a little bit doesn't make you feel good inside.
Yeah, you just gotta believe. Sometimes it's more an
Yeah.
art than it is a science.
Okay, so that we could. Yeah, I don't want to. I feel like I'm like keep continuously saying I don't want to spend forever on this, and then I just like talk about 5 more things. But the last thing I just want to look at the power play point really quickly. I can't imagine a scenario where they actually offer Petrie. No, we don't know on the other side. Brinket, Perron's price. I mean, it would, I guess, be Gostisbehere, but whatever. Okay, nothing crazy there. The Dallas game also, I mean, there's enough games on this slate to where I think you could avoid betting anything in this game and probably be better off. I've gone to Pavelski a number of times. I'll take a quick look on the player props because he's going to be highly involved. I mean, Iafallo has been really good. Can I get rid? Can this go away? I don't want this. I want to look at go away. Okay, thank you. I wasn't going to bet Lauer anyways, but Pavelski minus 130 for a point, like that's probably pretty good. Can't imagine. I mean, Hintz is minus 145. They really respect Winnipeg defensively more than I do? So that's probably where I'm looking. I don't think you need to bet this Connor 3.5 here against Dallas. Like he's been otherworldly. He's hit an unbelievable amount of games. He is averaging, and he's right behind me here. I know he's averaging the most on these two games as far as shot attempts, but I think you're playing the coin flip game, and there's such a big slate. So I think that if you need props from both these games, you're trying to make that 12-leg parlay. I think I probably land here with Perron and Pavelski. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Pavelski's on underdog as an option as well for the
Ooh.
point, which just when we consider the odds and whatnot, technically makes Pavelski better on underdog than on DraftKings Sportsbook. But
Yeah, definitely.
we also don't have rivals at this point. which obviously, that's like half the possible options to choose from on Underdog. So keep an eye out for those.
Yeah.
I generally struggle with it just because I'd rather try to make one projection than two, basically, to find an edge. But obviously, there's a lot of situations where rivals are good wagers as well.
And
Just
I do want to say something quickly. Matt, I haven't finished it yet. I'm about halfway through it, and I really think it's like unbelievably important. Probably like I'm only halfway through the Secrets of Modern Sports Betting Theory Daily Fantasy podcast episode that you sent me, and you're like, DJ, if you
Mhm.
don't listen to this, you're a fraud. And you're right; it's unbelievably good. So I'm actually going to share it right now on my Twitter. Um, I'm only halfway through it. It's awesome. It's really, really useful for I mean the modern day sports betting world and like what is important and stuff. Like I actually think it's a lot of that. Is there anything you want to touch on there and then we'll move over? Or are you
Um,
just listen to it and move
I
on?
mean, I would encourage anyone who's serious about this stuff or semi-serious to listen to it. I found it just very interesting. I'm not really in the like I'm obviously in the betting space, but I don't bet every day. I can't play an underdog, et cetera, et cetera. So, even as like a DFS junkie, I found it really riveting, and I found a lot of good points and a lot of honestly changed my perspective in like the way I approach sports betting and sort of the player props and sort of I guess it's more of just like the deference to the sports books, where like, yeah, we probably should believe the books know what they're talking about when it comes to team sides and team totals, or game totals. But on the player props stuff, he kind of went through like how those are being outsourced, and basically it's dudes, like us, and maybe even less knowledgeable than us, setting these lines. And like, yeah, it makes sense when you think about it. And obviously, you've had success on Underdog and whatnot with these slips and everything. So yeah, I highly encourage to go to DJ's Twitter and check out
Yeah.
that podcast
What
when you have
is
time.
his Twitter handle? It's not Blender. It's what is it? Do you have
I think
one?
it's at Blender HD, is it not?
At Blender HD. I think the problem is when I looked up, okay, yeah, okay. When I looked
Yeah,
up
yeah,
Blender, it gave me like Blender companies, and that wasn't
sure.
what I wanted at all. I wasn't buying a Blender. Okay, yeah, we can move over. Well, yeah, thanks. Yeah, keep it. There's so many different screens, and then again, I'll just really quickly, if you're like, there's a player I really wanted to talk about. Player profiles is still free. Shot profiles updates are coming. They might not be done today, but like it's going to be updating throughout the day and you can type. I know when I did it the first time, it wasn't like letting
Is
me for some reason. I think it was my fault. But like if you wanted to like double check on Piran, again, we
is
have him
there a
projected higher. Hmm?
is there a link on the menus on Puckluck?
A link on the, I don't know what that means.
Or what's the just trying to zoom in on your thing. What is it? Shot dash profile. Okay.
Yeah, I can tweet that as
Yeah.
well. You know what? I have the power.
I know I've clicked on it, but I know I've clicked on it from Twitter, but yeah, cool. Okay.
But yeah, it does show that Piran over 1.5 is like absolute smash value. Again, first power play, and they want him shooting. Oh, look at him. He liked it. What a friend. New friend. Okay, let's keep it moving here because we're gonna be getting to the main slate. I kind of was hoping to keep this to an hour, and we spent 20 minutes on two games. We're like, we don't care about these games, but Boston
I mean,
Montreal
I don't think
next
we've said more
year.
than two useful things about these two games, but it's been setting the
No,
stage. All right,
yeah,
so keep
no.
going.
Yeah, Boston Montreal is the first game up over here on the sports book. So I guess we'll just continue on from there. I'm going to pull back up the sheet really quickly and just kind of mainly
Yep.
highlight that I don't think that Montreal looks fantastic here. Boston, pretty good. I guess keep an eye on Zaka. Like he missed practice. They said maintenance. That happened again with Chandler Stevenson recently, where he missed practice. They said maintenance, and he hasn't played in 2 games. So just keep an eye on it. If anything, Brusk did practice on the first power play, but we have to assume if Zaka's good to go, he'll take that role back. But definitely a value, especially if you're grinding those, power play point props and you like Boston against Montreal. It does make sense. I assume that we're looking at a player that the books were not going to catch up on in DeBrusque at plus 500 for a power play point. If Zaka's out, I think that's an absolute smash value. He is very good at hockey. And they would definitely use him. And it's not like he's going to be a complete passenger out there.
Yeah, I don't think
So,
they skated this morning, but we already got
no.
the news of like we've already got how their D pairs are going to form with
Mhm.
McAvoy back. So I would guess he would have mentioned that if he was sitting, but obviously
Yeah,
keep an eye on it as we get closer to lock. But I would not be
yeah.
betting speculatively on Jake DeBrusk at this
No,
point in
no.
time. Okay.
Yeah, you will know before the books adjust. I just wanted to point that out because I saw that he was on the first power play, and I just again, that is definitely an angle I would attack. But regardless, I don't know if there's anything in this game that's like overtly, unbelievably good that you're just absolutely taking to the bank as far as a point or anything of that nature. I really respect this Boston team quite a bit. Hard for me to jump on much. Like Marchand, I'd probably go back to at 2.5. Like he has been shooting at a really, really good clip. It's a little bit risky, and it seemed like as soon as they moved him up to that top line, it's when he, maybe became a bit more of a passer with Pastrnak on his line. I assume that sticks, and they roll with Zaka, Marchand, and Pastrnak. But Marchand it's been pretty good for that 2.5. I think that like again, you're looking at these numbers here. If it might be a little bit small, does it actually? If anyone's watching it, does this look way too small? If anyone wants to comment, but there's only two players on Boston above 5 shot attempts per game, and that is Marchand at 5.69, nice, and Pastrnak
Yeah.
at over 9 shot attempts per game. So is Pastrnak a little bit difficult to actually click on at minus 110, 4.5? I think so. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
so long-winded way on the betting.
Marchand's a really good value on DraftKings on both the props and the DFS 6,400 for him. You're probably going to want to play Pastrnak with him, but there's certainly a case to be made that you don't need to play Pastrnak at 9,500 or whatever he is. And you can still, 9,200 for Pastrnak and 6,400 Marchand is just, much cheaper. He's just as involved. He's not going to shoot, as often. But as far as like points and whatnot, like I think Marchand's a great option. And minus 140 is ridiculous. He's a 3 on underdog. So minus 140 on the shots on 2.5 is, very good for DraftKings sportsbook value. All right. Anything else?
Yeah. No, I mean he had a ton of attempts in that last game too. I'm just double checking, hit the post or he's there. It's fine. Definitely my favorite there, and I'm just not looking at anything on Montreal. I'm feeling very good about it. Armia's back. Yolanin is out. Who cares? Moving on to the next game. And if we're using the sports book, that would be the Flames and the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa shaking up the Lions yet again after losing at home. They moved Tarasenko up to the Brady Norris line. Stutzel, Giroux, and who's the third? I can look it
Is it
up.
Batherson or is
Stutzel.
it not Batherson?
No, it's not Batherson. Batherson, Kuberleek, and I have honestly, I guarantee as soon as you say the guy's name,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Joseph on
Matthew
that
Joseph.
line with Stutzel and Giroux, and then it's
I'm looking at it now.
Yavardi. Yeah, okay. Yavardi,
What?
Kubalik, and is it Yavardi? Okay,
Jar,
you just say it. I'm
Jar,
looking at it.
Jarventi. Jarventi. I
I
don't
thought
know,
it was
but
like the
it's
cheese.
definitely not what you said. Kubalik, Batherson, Jarventi. Sure. Um, Brandstrom is back. Zub is back in the lineup. So the minutes that were, being funneled toward Chikrin and Sanderson are probably going to deteriorate a little bit here. Chikrin went from 27, 29, 27, 31 down to 25 last game. So I would expect that to continue. But yeah, I think the interest primarily is on the Calgary side. Just given, Ottawa's in a bit of a tailspin. Calgary across the board has been underpriced from a DFS perspective. I know Nazem Kadri gets a lot of respect from the book still, but I think that he's sort of the heartbeat of this Calgary offense. Like he's just straight up for a point on underdog. That seems pretty good to me. And I don't want to say it, but Jonathan Huberdeau as well for a point. Just like both of those, I think are solid. 56% of the time or whatever you need. Both are rock solid.
Yeah. Hold on, let me just take a look here. So, a puck luck, we have it as, I believe, I don't think it was a value on that. It doesn't really matter. But again, goals, I think, come as you're talking about here. They might not be all updated yet. Let me just go with the player prop. So, boy, I think, yeah, safety wise, I mean, I could definitely get convinced on Norris as well on the Ottawa side. I mean, Tarasenko's not top power play. He's with Brady. Giroux minus 120, not top power play. This is there's a lot here. Like every player besides Stutzel
Yeah,
is basically
yeah, worth considering. Calgary's main
yeah,
problem has been goaltending. Dustin Wolf makes his second career start tonight, so Calgary's a really good defensive team. Uh, if
yeah,
Dustin Wolf is, a fraction of the player he's been throughout his minors and professional career, he's going to be the answer for them. So, he's like the three-time reigning AHL MVP or something absolutely obnoxious like that. I think it's at least twice in a row. He's won AHL MVP, and he's
yeah,
finally getting a chance to run with the net. I think he takes it, but that's so that's why I'm not really on this Ottawa side. Like, I just don't think there's much volume, and I don't think there'll be efficiency.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, you're scrolling through. Scroll back up. Connor Zari.
yeah. That trust me, plus 400. I was gonna point that. I was kind of like going back and forth waiting, but no, you're making a really good point there. I love that this is the first time I feel like you've made a bit of a goalie stance in the entire season so far. You're like, you
Well,
know
I mean,
what? This goalie
it's more that goalies don't matter, but Calgary's goalies have been submarining them. So if goalies don't matter, then you have to say Calgary's a really good defensive team. I think because
on a
it's
back to back, it's a 6.5. So actually, I think it is. Yeah, it's definitely leaning towards. I guess not much. My God, the Vegas huge on this game. It feels like.
yeah.
No, I didn't think the Flames were a terrible bet here. And honestly, like you're alluding to the under a little bit. I don't think it's like an unbelievable edge, but I think it's a small edge, and that plus money on it makes it better. So I do agree because this is very much saying Ottawa have hit a lot of overs lately because of, I mean, really just them being bad. And if we think that the Flames on a back to back, a good defensive team, and they could just have a goalie that limits chances, that might be pretty good. Um, yeah, this is definitely. I think Ottawa could be kind of chalky. It seems like, especially as of late in ownership, the back to back games have been targeted more than I thought. So I wonder if Ottawa doesn't get a bit piled on, and maybe it doesn't just because of how the lineup is a little bit. mm, I don't know what the right term would be. Janky or not super fluid feeling when making a stack that feels perfect on
Yeah.
Ottawa. But even with that, I wonder if people don't jump in a bit. So yeah, I think
Yep.
I could
For
be
me,
very
that's an easy
convinced on quite
fade,
a few
but
things. Yeah,
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 for me,
I think
Ottawa's
fading the
an
game.
easy. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm agree. That's
Well,
largely what I'm saying.
okay, well, Connor Zary is playing 18 minutes alongside Nazem Kadri, power play one, doing absolutely everything for them. I think every single one of his props that is offered is a value.
It's just not
You're
offered
not going to,
other than power
yeah,
play.
you got the power play point plus 400, but also on DraftKings he's 2,900. Just jam him in, move on. Probably play Nazem Kadri as well at 5,400, but hey, I'm not going to build your lineup for you, so
Yeah.
we can move
So
on though.
yeah, I'll just click on Kadri minus 125 for a point, and I'll click on Zari for now. But I'm not gonna. Yeah, no. This is an interesting game because it does feel like if you think that over is gonna hit, like every so many of these point props get hit. But okay, yeah, it.
I don't.
We
I
can move
think
on.
I mean the under
Yeah,
to me is the clear value, but sure.
yeah. No, I think so too. I think the under is definitely better there, but neither side under and the rest. Okay, so we can move over. Carolina on a back to back against Tampa. Carolina did not win. That was right. Wait, they lost. Yeah.
Yeah, 5-2.
Carolina lost 5-2. Right. Okay, there it is. I was saying it out loud, and they switched up stuff during the game, and that's why I didn't really retweet these lines because it looked like an absolute mess. So I wonder what they'll run exactly. The big news was definitely Orlov on the, I would say, nominal top power play, although both units definitely have good players on them. So Orlov did get that top power play. I don't believe he was offered last game. So let's check today. I don't see him. So never mind. Was hoping that would be something to give a look at, but it is not. Tampa, gotta say, didn't play great against Connor Bedard. Not
Can confirm.
fantastic against Connor
Yeah.
Bedard. Connor Bedard did pretty well. It is a back to back. it is a very high rates team in Carolina that definitely can limit chances against. We do get Kucherov, I believe, falling a bit back as far as his pricing is concerned because of the matchup. Yeah, to minus 125 from that minus like 160 against Connor Bedard's. But I don't know if I'm jumping on anything in particular. Svechnikov did hit for us. I honestly think that we got completely bailed out by the stat keeper because he definitely hit the post. Regardless, I'll take it. Anything stand out to you in this game from any perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine running back Svechnikov, Burns. Those two guys. Let's see. No, I don't have it up still. But basically, when you look at like their shot attempts versus shots on net, both of them are getting absolutely killed as far as like just remarkably unlucky. And I thought, oh, for Brent Burns, maybe that's a thing because he shoots so much in his career. Well, yeah, no, it was totally the aspect of just like Burns is getting remarkably unlucky. He's taking like 7 shot attempts per game and getting like 2 per game on net or something. That's going to revert. 38% right now in his last 10. He career average is about 55 for him. Svechnikov, since his return from injury, is averaging 6 shot attempts per game, only getting 32% of those on net. He's a career average of like 60%. So I have no qualms with either Svechnikov or Burns. I think they'll continue to play solid roles for this team. And even if the efficiency isn't there against Tampa, Tampa's given up a ton of volume and efficiency against. So, you don't need to make too much of a projection.
Yeah. Svechnikov slightly over Burns, in my opinion. I've wanted to see a little bit more from Svechnikov. But as you're mentioning, like the rates really started to just absolutely fly off the boards for both of them. I mean, actually, Burns has been good all year, but for Svechnikov, and unbelievably, 32% of his shots have gone on net, which is defenseman level bad for Svechnikov. Like 35% for Burns, that makes sense. Like that is okay. That's a defenseman shooting from the point. Sure.
That's nope. A defensive baseline is 50%. So that is way lower than
It's
you would
even low for
expect.
him.
Burns'
Well,
career,
yeah,
it's
I mean,
55. He's actually been very good at getting shots on goal. So I'm not going to let you just spout nonsense here.
Okay. I'm just saying you could make an argument for why that makes sense, but it doesn't. Okay, you're right, and
Sure,
I'm
maybe
wrong.
because he's old and bad now, but like he's been playing great this year. Brent Burns has. Like he's literally been very, very good. He's just getting ridiculously unlucky. He's got points on like 10% of his team's goals that he's on the ice for. That should be like in the 50s at least, if not in the 60s. So it's just one of those very strange situations going on. But it's just another strange year for Brent Burns in Carolina.
Yeah.
So
And again, like it just does not like Svechnikov on puck luck. And this is kind of one of the things me and Jay were talking about and like why we're gonna, well, mainly, I'm kind of just giving him what I think we should do and things are gonna change. But yeah, it is interesting. It's like for some reason, all the Carolina guys, I mean, Aho always okay, hold on, which Aho do I get first? The right one. I mean, I mean, Aho is, I guess, like actually showing up as a guy. I don't know. Maybe it's just the first power play that's just I don't know, but I think Svechnikov, like you're saying, is good. As far as the game lines, if anyone's here wondering, like, what about the game lines? I assume it's probably, it's nothing. That's priced very accurately to what we have as well. The under does seem interesting to me, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like you're kind of making this bet that both teams revert back to normal and not hit the over in every freaking game they play. But definitely, we're projecting it to be under 6. It's a 6.5. I think the under is probably the right call there. Back to back Carolina. There's a lot of reasons why. Any other thoughts? And then DFS wise, I mean, I'm not really playing it, but I could see why you could look at Tampa. Just because I don't think there's gonna be a lot of ownership there, but I don't love the game, like I'm saying, so I don't think I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm considering Burns in DFS, but otherwise, I'm largely staying away. Maybe if the lines look really wonky for Carolina, Kucherov makes his way into the mix, but 8,700 is definitely a fair price, and what's still a pretty tough matchup despite the back-to-back. So we can move on.
And Svechnikov is on underdog 2.5, so I did put
As
that
is
in.
Burns. Just run it back.
Could run it back. we'll move over to Vancouver and Toronto. Toronto is finally going to take out Reeves. Took up long enough. Klingberg is back. I'm pretty sure Morgan Riley lost that power play point, which I'm not going to argue about, but that was frustrating. Toronto, not good defensively. I think there will be quite a few people that look at this game and look at this 6.5 and just don't care. And man, do I think the under is probably the way to go, because eventually that PDO bender this Vancouver team is on is going to run dry. And eventually Toronto isn't going to just be an absolute desolate wasteland defensively. Is it tonight though? Is it worth actually putting money on? Is it worth parlaying? Probably not. I mean, we have it at 6.37. I mean, yeah, it's a value, especially at plus 114, but do you really hate yourself enough to bet that?
I think it's fine. Yeah. I mean, again,
Yeah.
the math is leading in that direction, so it's either that or no bet. But yeah, getting Reeves out of there is literally like the dude is a minus 11 in like
Yeah.
100 minutes this season. It is absolutely
Toronto,
astonishing how bad he's been. And so yeah, bringing Klingberg back into the fold doesn't help defensively necessarily, but like Klingberg has been okay territorially. It's not like Ryan Reeves where he's getting just completely shellacked every night. It's at least just Klingberg's on the ice and the goaltenders behind him think that they play for the San Jose Sharks or something.
yeah. Toronto traded they traded good defensive play for grit, and it went and blew up directly in their face. Not great. And if yes, Samsonov is in net. Yes.
Okay.
It is Samsonov.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
Montembeau?
I assume that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Montembeau also in net, if that's who you're talking about. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
So Nylander's been otherworldly. Once again, just I'm not even gonna try to add it up. But 100 shots on net. I liked it, but I just didn't like it as much as some others. Like I was like kind of talking about some other plays I liked, and he was one of them. And I did include it in one slip that I made later. But could you go back to it here? Probably. Minus 145 is starting to get to a point where I'm like, yikes, I don't love it. I mean, what are our thoughts on Vancouver defensively? Are we even like minor league concerned about that? I mean, Demko's bailing them out, it feels like, but
yeah, I mean, they are. They're giving up their fair share of high danger chances and whatnot, just not getting punished for it. They've been fine though. It's not anything that I would be targeting in a big way here, especially on a back-to-back, especially because of how expensive Austin Matthews is. It's not like there's any extreme value in my estimation. Worth tracking, Quinn Hughes had one shot attempt against Ottawa. He's obviously been otherworldly on the year, getting shots on net. In his career, we talked about it on the podcast, though, he's like double his career shot rate so far this year at 5-on-5. The power play is exactly what it has been before, which is not a ton of shots. So, let's see. Do we have Quinn Hughes listed for shot props?
I guarantee yes, but I didn't. Yeah, minus 142.5 plus 110 under. So
okay. I don't see any Quinn Hughes on underdog. So
yeah, they'll probably post like a boosted line or something, which I will not be touching for the reason you just said. Yes, he's averaging a lot of shot attempts. I'm not touching it.
Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, I think the under 2.5 at plus 110 is fine. But I would not make that my, I would not stake my net worth to it or whatever. Mikheyev,
no.
Mikheyev over 1.5 is very good. Can you type in Mikheyev here? I wonder what Jay has, because he's been awesome coming back from his injury.
Over 1.5 minus 194.
Yeah. Yep, and that's what minus 166. He's playing alongside Pettersson. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, he's been really good. Where is he? Yeah, I mean, okay, so he's basically getting every shot he takes on net, which is pretty fun. I mean, like I think the main thing to note here is like Pettersson has not been a prolific rate shooter. I think that's like really the thing that's and we know Kuzmenko is not at 5-on-5 either. And if we think Pettersson's really good, I think that that's actually a really sharp way of looking at that. And looking at this board and taking the guy, especially in a parlay, when it's like, well, what's going to hit? Like, you know, like and I think Mikheyev's going to be forgotten about completely in this mix. And I think that's really sharp. Like, I get why you go Nylander. It feels safe. It feels nice and warm and cozy, but I don't think that's the way I don't think Vancouver wants to play this up tempo hockey game. I really don't. I mean, I know you look at the last game and that kind of holds true in a 5-2 game still, where you had an expected goal of like 4. Again, like I think
What
that's
is on
more of what they're
Underdog?
looking at. Wait, what?
Sorry. Yeah, Quinn. I don't
Quinn,
know. So someone just said Quinn's on Underdog, but I'm looking at it and don't see him. So I don't know.
I didn't
Whatever.
see it
Stupid.
either. Quinn
Okay.
is, or maybe
Whatever.
he might have, maybe he was at 2, but then the line moved it. I mean, because I didn't see it when I looked. I'm just gonna look one more time. No, it's there right now. I see it 2.5. I mean, I'm not touching
Okay.
it.
Well,
I'm just gonna
anyway,
not.
it's better on the sports books if you want the under, better on Underdog if you want the over. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I could just really quickly before we move on, I'll just type in. Oh, forgot this keyboard doesn't work. Quinn Hughes, and it's again, this is because again, like historically, he's been a very bad rate shooter. So it's saying, we're not projecting him for much, and yet
Yeah.
he's been so good this year that it's like, well, actually, he's been so good that it can be fine. So I don't know. You're playing the game of is right now correct versus his historic rates. I'd rather just take Mikheyev. I think that was actually a really, really good take. I didn't. Again, it's like you don't think about this stuff sometimes. You don't think about the Ilya Mikheyevs of the world, but he's actually very good at hockey. So I don't think there was anything on the lines. Let's double check. Minus 104 plus 104. So no, right in the middle there. We can move on. And I think this is a pretty
Nope.
strong and nice little fade in DFS. Like I think if you stay away from this game,
Yeah,
you might be rewarded because, like I said,
we need to get
what?
rolling because I'm not spending an hour and a half on this. So
No. Okay.
we're barely
Washington and the
halfway through the main
Islanders.
slate.
Yeah, Washington and the Islanders, I do like a decent bit. I could look at both sides. We should have Horvat back, top power play, all that good stuff. The lines were a bit jumbled. On the other hand, Holmstrom and Engvall were up in the top 6 with the rest of the guys. Oliver Wahlstrom, rest in
We
peace, I guess.
have lines.
Yeah,
For them.
I'm saying them, but you can read them exactly. It was Horvat, Holmstrom, Barzal, Lee, Nelson.
Got it. Okay. I
And
thought you were
Engvall.
saying Engvall and Holmstrom were together, and I was like,
No. I'm saying that they're in the top 6. So basically, it's stupid.
Okay.
But also,
Ignore the peanut gallery here.
My main point here is that I like the shot props in this game. I like a lot of them, honestly. I mean, am I gonna fall for the Connor McMichael over 1.5 minus 135? I could, but is it the best one in this game? No. I want to fall
he
for
had
it.
He had one really good game, and he went right back to playing 11 minutes last night.
Get it. Like, why does that happen?
I mean, Kuznetsov was on another planet last night, so I can't really fault him too much because Kuznetsov was everywhere, and Dylan Strome has really earned his role in the top 6 so far. So it's just I get it. Connor McMichael's really fun, but I think being at center, it's better for the Capitals, but it's worse for his fantasy outlook.
Yeah. I mean, again, it does feel like Brock, Bo, Roulette a little bit. I mean, they both could freaking hit. They're both probably an underdog. Nelson, I'm kind of going a little bit faster. Nelson's out shooting him per game on a per game basis, but Horvat did, I believe, have one game where maybe he didn't really play much time because he got hurt. I could look back on it. Horvat getting quite a few shots. It's like, I think if you're like strictly a volume based better, you go with Nelson. And if you're trying to take a guy that is more likely to, get his shots on net, it seemingly is Horvat. Minus 193 for Horvat is what Puck Luck has for what it should be over 2.5. And Brock Nelson is minus 155. So likes Horvat more. I will leave it to Matt. Again, I like both of them. I could be convinced to bet both of them, honestly, because I don't know how much I really respect this Capitals team defensively. I would say not a metric ton, although I feel like they've been quite a decent bit better as of late. I mean, they're winning games at
Um,
least.
yeah, their defensive numbers in the last little stretch have actually gotten a little worse. I'm looking at a little
Oh,
plot chart of like their 5 game rolling average. So I don't. It's not scripture, obviously, but it has been trending in the wrong direction over the past week or so. I think Noah Dobson is of interest as well. He's uh, back still on the top power play. There's no Adam Pellick, so it's not necessarily beneficial to his ice time. So I might go with Noah Dobson point instead of shots.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but on the top power play, he's minus 120. I
Man,
think on underdog, technically what minus 125 for value there, but minus 122 is like the number you're shooting for. I think Dobson's the value on both in both cases.
yeah. Wow, that's really good too. So Dobson, Horvat, and Nelson shots. And honestly, Horvat for a point minus 135 doesn't feel too stinky. Man, do I just go with puck luck and go with Bo Horvat? That's part of my thought here. I mean, is the injury concern of any note to you? Are you worried about he missed a couple games? Is he 100%? And any of that factoring into this at all for a prop
Uh,
or and again in
it's
daily
not
fantasy too? Like
factoring.
I feel like, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's more just my general aversion to playing Islanders that at their newfound prices that has been my reasoning not to play them. So I don't think there's an injury concern here, but I can't rule it out for sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Nelson. I'm gonna not no. I mean, I'm gonna go with Horvat. I'm gonna do it. I think Horvat makes more sense here. And yeah, let's keep it moving. Yeah, DFS wise, I'm not super interested, but I would say I am very interested in OV. Like I think that he could find his way in as far as like the upper price guys on this game. But I'm gonna yeah we'll keep it moving here. There's a lot of good games to get to. Uh, Buffalo at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh likely or said they're gonna play Jari, which was interesting. Kind of thought he was not looking great. The over under is 7. That's, I believe, the highest total on the entire slate. Buffalo's on a back to back after beating Minnesota, and Devin Levi shows up and plays really, really well. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I mean, you love Pittsburgh. You love betting, not betting on, I guess, like DFS wise, playing both sides. JJ Paterka got some run in the top line, it looked like. What are we thinking here?
Uh, I'm really a little worried about the schedule, just the ramifications here. Pittsburgh is, I mean, they're coming off of their West Coast road trip where they played San Jose, Anaheim, and LA in the last week, and then immediately coming to play, Buffalo here. Buffalo on a back to back. I don't really understand why this is a 7. Like I want to believe, but I'm a little worried that like dead legs set in here, and just for what you're paying for like the overs and everything and DFS too. Like I don't know how much juice there is in this matchup. So it's not like we have any extreme values to pick from. Maybe outside of Paterka, but even then, 3,600. Like he's not it's a little bit like, what am I really missing out on? Unless he's on the top power play, which, I would expect Tuck to be back tonight also, by the way, because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
did
yeah, me
say
too.
that, oh, Tuck's probably not going to play both games. Sure seems like they were saving him for Saturday night, just to, keep him healthy. So I don't necessarily think he's a lock to miss here or anything either. So, which in that case, that takes away this Casey Middlestat stuff you're looking at here, where I would imagine Cousins stays on the top unit. Maybe that's not the case, and Middlestat does,
Yeah,
but there's
he
just a
only
lot of
played
uncertainty.
14. Yeah, he only played 14
So
minutes. And I just feel like that was a indication that maybe they were easing him in a bit more than I expected myself. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, the 14-minute was a little bit concerning
honestly,
for Cousins.
I think they were just leading, so like they didn't need
Yeah, but
to.
why Cousins? Like if Cousins bad defense, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It
I
really
mean,
doesn't matter.
uh,
Just
he
probably
definitely Grano definitely loved the way Rusek was playing, and Rusek's not going
yeah,
to be a offensive stalwart in the NHL. So my guess is that's
no.
why. But no, Cousins has been pretty poor defensively in his career to this point. But Yeah, that
Yeah,
I don't think that's anything
yeah,
more than a game script thing.
yeah. For props, I think I'm just gonna double check what we have for Malkin here, but I think it's probably just Malkin again. Like why he's priced. Malkin, it's priced about accurately then for what
Yeah.
that, I just the one is 145 number just kind of I just don't get it. Like he's shooting so much. He's so integral to this offense. I don't understand why he's minus 145 for 2.5 and Crosby is 3.5 plus money. I
Yeah.
just I
Okay.
could beat
Yep.
you Vince on Eric Carlson too.
That's really good, actually. Malkin's really good there. I was looking underdog where he's at 3, so I was expecting something worse
Yeah.
on the DraftKings Sportsbook. I just can't have everything open at one time.
No, man, I'm going back and forth. So good teamwork there. We don't have to spend too much longer on this game. It definitely it's a wait and see on Buffalo. And I do think ownership could come a little bit in this game, especially I feel like Pittsburgh could get a little bit of ownership, and we have a lot of games to go. So why don't we move over?
Yep.
Arizona and Nashville might be worth double checking Nashville because Cody Glass was on the ice for practice today, so I don't know if they made any changes to their lineup. Um, this game definitely screams to me a good spot for Roman Yossi, and I don't know if you're going to have as much cap to spend on a guy like him, but I really do like him in this game. Him and Forsberg, I continue to go back to, and they have rewarded me at times, and they've absolutely had games that are tilt fest because one goes crazy and the other one's nowhere to be found. I don't think there's that much more in this game that I'm ultra interested in. I think I've talked about it quite frequently that these are the catalysts for this offense in Nashville. And I don't think anything in Arizona to me is feeling just unbelievably good. But is Nashville bad enough well, I don't know. Are they giving up enough against Corsi wise that you could consider a prop on the other side? I mean, maybe you could look at Keller, but there's only 3 guys in this game that are averaging over 5 shot attempts per game. And that's Keller, Yossi,
Yeah.
Forsberg. I don't really think you look too far away from it.
Yeah, it's I'm intrigued to see what the Nashville lines wind up looking like with Glass back because there's a chance that Glass could be on the top power play as well. Just they're coming off of that loss to Winnipeg. It's not like there's any reason to keep the lines, and Glass was playing really well before he got hurt. But yeah, I don't think there's a lot here to like. So yeah, just stick to Forsberg. He's been awesome. But yeah, Yossi seems kind of not gonna say broken because he's still
I
at like
mean,
5 shots plus blocks per game over the last 10, but he just doesn't seem quite as involved. I think Forsberg's really taking
yeah.
ownership of the offense. And Tyson Barrie is helping with the distribution of the puck. So like, there's just not a ton
Minus
for Roman Yossi who does everything for this team. He's getting slightly more help than before, which is surprising, but maybe not all that unexpected given Tyson Barrie's prowess as a puck mover.
minus 150 for a point on Yossi is at least not stupid, probably. I mean, in 29 minutes, I mean, he's Roman Yossi.
Yeah,
But is it that like do you just take a little bit of safety on Forsberg? What do you think?
I would probably. I mean, I don't know if it's safety necessarily, but yeah, this game just is not that enticing to me.
Okay. Okay. I'll keep Yossi in actually. Why not? It could be fun. I mean, I like both of them quite a decent pick here. The Blues in Colorado, don't know if we have the news yet. Didn't have it before we started on Lekanen. There's got to be a 0% chance he plays, but again, I just would want to know more. I
Yeah,
feel terrible. That was very, very, very ugly, and I truly, just hope we see him again this season, and maybe even better. But I haven't seen anything yet. We are expecting news and notes, so I'm not sure if you're looking right now because they were saying it should come out um, decently soon. So all the best to him. That
yeah. Well,
will,
he
we have.
was literally in the
Oh, go.
hospital, so I don't expect him to play here. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, here we go. He's not at
Go on.
practice, and Nichushkin has moved up to the top power play 15 minutes ago.
Well,
Um,
that'll make this
so there's
betting
your
card probably minus 135 for Nutushkin for a point. So who's on the top line then? So is it back to
it. I would imagine it's Nichushkin. We don't have
yeah.
that at this. Well, actually, let me. Yeah, we don't have that. It's Colorado. We're thankful to just have the fact that Lekkonen's not on the ice at Morningscape.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that 135 is on underdog really quick, because that would be very fun in my opinion, and it is not. 2.5 on shot. I don't know. Yeah, screw it. I mean, I'm just going to bet the point here. Um, Not a lot of interest on the other side. I think this Colorado team is pretty good. That's just going to be the best bet on the board for sure here. I mean, I think Nutushkin and Lehkonen are both very good, and if they're in the same role, then the price is much better on Valerie because again, it kind of all comes together for me to make that bet. As far as DFS though, I mean, I also think this gets interesting because like how many people. It's a huge slate. I mean, it's probably just the best way to actually just say it. Like, I wonder if Colorado one isn't completely to the moon and back owned. Um, and I would definitely like a large piece of this Colorado one tonight against the Blues.
Um, yeah, I mean they're going to be pretty astronomically owned, I think, now that Nichushkin's there at his low price. But great play, can't fault
Yeah,
it.
it's a fan. I mean, I'm kind of assumed you might say something like that, and yeah, no, it's such a good play that you're probably right. It probably will be the highest owned on the slate. Any other things on the St. Louis side of the coin here?
I don't think so. Like there's just not a ton to love, and I think given Nichushkin's value, I would rather just go that direction. Uh, Maybe Torrey Krug. I don't know. You can throw a shekel in on him. He got a point last game finally. Well, 2 games now. He's gotten points. And had his first big game last game. So 4K DFS, and I'm sure his point prop is pretty charitable as well. But top power play, good time on ice. So
Krug, I don't see
yeah.
I don't see Krug at all for a point.
Okay.
6 + 600 for a power play point.
Wait, plus 600 you said?
Yeah,
That's really good.
yeah, that's pretty high. Holy crap.
Like
Is there,
okay, their power play is terrible, and he could lose time to Prunovich, on the power play specifically, but it feels like you're making a lot of leaps that their power play is going to continue to remain terrible and that Prunovich is going to take his power play job because that's like a second pairing guy, like your second power play unit odds. So
yeah, sorry, I'm gonna get this 12 leg bet in before the games. I have like a couple minutes, but we'll move on to not tomorrow's games. We are down to the final two. Yeah, Colorado really like them a lot, and I'll quickly run through the games as far as puck luck projections before we close it out for anything else. But we are here. Edmonton Oilers are favorites on the road against a bad Seattle team, we'll just say. I mean, is there, a bad Seattle team? Fair enough.
I mean, I don't think they're good, so I don't know if that makes them bad, but um, they're fine. They're a fine Seattle team.
Like, if Edmonton going to get overlooked is probably the question that should be asked here.
It's tough. I think people are done with Edmonton, but I don't know if I can quit them.
Okay.
They've played really well, and yeah, pucks aren't going in the net. I get it. McDavid looks kind of lost, but like, Christ, he's still Connor McDavid, and Seattle's a team where they can give up goals in bunches. Like, there's really there's no doubt that they're going to be underowned for what my feelings about the Edmonton Oilers are, and Seattle Kraken, combined. But is that something you have to jam in as far as your slips or whatnot? I'm not sure because there's a lot of contributors at on the Seattle end as well to consider for like your monster parlay. Jaden Schwartz is one. I don't know how pressed on time you are with the 1 o'clock games, but
I'm out of time, so I just went with McDavid over 3.5, honestly, because they just
okay.
continue to drop it, and he did hit last game, and he's Connor McDavid. This is just it just becomes like a kind of feels like Svechnikov, where it's like, okay, like if he's actually, oh my god, good try. That should work. He's actually like going to be playing injured or something. I guess on one hand you could like consider. I don't know. I'm not considering that. Like I think McDavid
Yeah, I
is
mean,
just
the
what.
main issue is that it seems like a wrist, which is not good for fantasy. But yeah,
See, I heard
he's
Oblique.
playing
No
with
one knows. No one knows.
That's true.
Where
That
did
is
you
true.
hear
Nobody
Riffs?
knows. Uh, uh, some TSN show or something.
See,
But
I was listening to something and they were saying it was an oblique, or they thought it was an oblique. And it was, it's like one of those things that like just hurts, but like I don't know. It's fine. Yeah,
it's all speculation because there's no injury reporting in the NHL because it's not a real league. But yeah,
yeah, I think that he's trending up again, and I would rather jump on the trending up Connor McDavid than play anything else. Like I get
yeah,
Draisaitl too. I hate that I get it because I think that he's a much more of a passenger than the league. At least I mean he's not literally a passenger. I'm not saying that. He's more of a passenger than the public perceives him as, and as such, not a ton of interest in jamming him in. McLeod, McDavid, and Hyman should all be together at 5-on-5. You can probably bet through the power play. Point props seem pretty nuked in this one for the Edmonton side. So I think you're looking at shot props. I'm not that afraid of Seattle, and Edmonton does show up as a decent, a decent look.
yeah.
So yeah, all of that to say, and I mean, again, we're going to ask, are the Oilers bad? I really don't think they're that bad. Like goaltending stupid. Like if they had league average
Yeah, they're
goaltending,
not
we
playing.
would not be talking about it.
They're not playing great defensively, but they
Yeah.
can't buy a save either. So Seattle side, Jaden Schwartz has been just playing out of his mind for this team. 6 goals, 4 primary assists, 2 secondary assists in his last 10 games, 31 shots, doing everything. I'm a longtime Jaden Schwartz believer, so he's still underpriced for that production for sure in DFS, and I think his props offer some value as well. 2.5 even money, I want to say it was, and he's also an underdog, which is not quite the best value as far as like comparing to the sports book, but that would be my preference over McDavid stuff personally, as well as Evan Bouchard on underdog for for half a point over. That is nutso. Like Bouchard is integral to their power play. He's awesome at 5-on-5 too, in the offensive zone. So I really like him at 0.5 points over.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's the one that stands out for sure when you look at all the rest of the power play guys, minus 135.
Well, let's
Final game. Okay. All right. Back-to-back Philly at LA. What say you about playing the Los Angeles Kings? Like, is it Kings? I feel like there's going to be some King Avalanche lineups. I feel like it's doable.
It is yeah, so the King side of it, really only Adrian Kempe interests me. Philly's not a up-tempo team whatsoever, so like I'm not sure this is the matchup where like your a Pierre-Luc Dubois and Phil Deneau's get there at decent clip ownership and their low prices. Like I just don't think there's the volume to support that. Like sure, maybe they had a 3-point night and everyone can donkey fiesta their way to the top of leaderboards, but for me it's Adrian Kempe or bust. This dude is shooting out of his absolute mind. Quentin Byfield is awesome and he exists to feed Kempe pucks, and Kopitar's grinding his way to getting Kempe shots on goal. So everything to do with Adrian Kempe I think is great. I'm going to be pretty light on Fiala and Dubois specifically because I believe the field will really target them in DFS. And I don't think their betting lines are all that. I don't think they're different enough from Adrian Kempe to make that worthwhile. So just give me Adrian Kempe for all the money here.
Yeah, I know. I
Or
was debating.
Owen Tippett.
Kempe.
You want to run back last night's slip? Owen Tippett's here.
I know. No. I was really debating between Fiala and Kempe for a point, and I just went with Fiala because I don't think there's that much of a difference, and I guess the books are really it's not that far off. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an absolute long-term believer in Fiala, and when I see his price drop, I jump.
I mean, he just doesn't play enough minutes to warrant any sort of premium, in my opinion. Like you're paying for Nick Ehlers, and like we finally weaned you off of that. Like just it can hit, sure, but there's no safety because he's not a primary piece of this of this team. Like he's an offensive facilitator, but so is Arthur
Yeah.
Kaliev. Like, you know, like I don't know.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, I love them both, honestly. But I just think like for safety, that's where you go for a point. I'm not really looking at shots. I don't think I'm going to Kempe like I mean, I don't think I'm going to Fiala on shots. Like I think he is a major catalyst for this team on offense and on the power play in every capacity, and that's the guy that puck should be going through. So I like it for a point much more. I'm not really looking at this Philly side too deeply. We could briefly look at last night and see kind of why. But I may just hate myself enough to go back to Tyson Forrester again for a goal. I might do it to myself. No, click here.
Yeah, I mean,
Forrester, Couturier, Atkinson, like they were really good, and Forrester just wasn't the guy that scored. Top power play. There he
mhm.
is. You know, I think this guy like it's not quite Connor Zary, like it's not that level by any stretch, but I do think it's actually like very interesting to me. Like this is a guy.
This is the guy.
Okay. I think
Yeah,
we are
I have no interest in Philly stuff.
no, it's a mess. I just don't get what they're doing. I really don't. But that's Tort's gonna do that. So yeah, last couple little things here. I mean, yeah, I again Kempe is safer. I probably should have clicked on that over Kempe. I mean, oh my god. Should have clicked on Kempe over Fiala, not Kempe over Kempe. You can't do that. That's against the rules. Um, one last look over all the games, and then just quickly we'll do top stacks guarantee goals. First game underway. So if you miss Perron, whatever, who cares? I mean, it's not like it's a unbelievable, you know, anything. So hold on. Okay. So I don't think there was a ton of value. And of course, things could change, and we're going to go over puck luck pick of the day and whatnot. Um, yeah, you know what? Honestly, just go to the game projections. Bet whatever you want. I'm probably not going to bet a whole bunch of this. Like, I like the props. I think there was a lot of good ones. If you want stuff like this, it's in the Discord. DM me questions, whatnot, and I'll post an underdog slip and DraftKings bets. I posted the 12 leg, and I'm gonna post 6 leg right after this. So top stacks guarantee goals. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, sure. I think my top stack is going to be going right back to the Ryan McLeod Painwell. He's still on the top line as was practiced yesterday. He's 3,500 in DFS, which means I don't think people will play him, and I believe that he is good. I think last game was a bit of a fluke where he only played 14 minutes. If Edmonton comes out of the gates hot, he should stick on that top line, and he'll kill penalties. He'll be defensively, he'll be defensively deployed as well in like late game situations and whatnot. I would take Bouchard over Hyman, but both are perfectly fine, and I'm ready for more pain. So my Saturday night can be just as miserable as Thursday night was, where I nailed the early games and missed everything late.
Well, that's really optimistic. I do love that you're being so optimistic on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. I mean, I'm I'm gonna play Colorado, so I'm gonna give it here and just hope that no one goes all the way with it. And by going all the way with it, I mean I'm gonna go with McKinnon, Rantanen, Nutushkin, and Kale McCarr. Go all four and hope that other people don't jam it as much as I think they should. Um, I think
Everyone's
it's
going to
just
be jamming
pretty.
all four, I think. So I would add in Johansson to that, honestly, if you want to get, or like add in like a Riley Tuft type character.
Yeah,
Um,
Garley Tough I think is actually super interesting. Yeah, that
yeah, didn't get to
he's
talk about him,
probably
but he's minimum salary in DFS, and he leads the AHL in shots and goals per game on the year. He's not really a prospect or anything, but like they need able bodies, especially without Lekanen. He got the most minutes out of all of their other non-premium wings, and he's still minimum salary with a track record of shooting this year.
yeah.
So DFS, he's great.
Yeah, I think if Colorado's getting all the way there too, like let's just say they win this game 6-1, and that you actually
Yeah.
needed Colorado one, Tough gets in late, gets a goal, minimum salary. That's probably the really interesting way of doing it. So I like that all five. Second sack,
Yeah, Calgary too. I don't think Kadri Zari's going anywhere. I know they lost in a shootout last night, but Zari played 18 minutes. top power play also included Adam Brujitska. So if they were going to bring Huberdeau back up to that top unit, it would probably be in Rajitska's place, and Zari stays. I love Connor Zari as a prospect. I think the line with him, Kadri Sharangovich, is far too cheap, and you could even mix in a Rasmus Anderson to get 28 minutes of extra fun and really solid floor stats for sub 6K at defense. So that's likely where I'm going on this Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm actually going to fit all the Colorado, I'm going to have to go incredibly cheap. So I'm not even going to try that right now. I'm just going to give another stack that I really like, and I might end up trying to fit in elsewhere. So that I think that it's going to be Pittsburgh 2 with Malkin, Riley Smith, and Eric Carlson. Like, I think the Sabres team is, I don't know. And I get why you don't do it. There's plenty of reasons, but I don't think that second line is going to see as much ownership and have 7 total when the Sabres run a back-to-back. And to be honest, I think the goaltending is pretty bad. And I think Pittsburgh is better than the public. So maybe they don't get there. I think Pittsburgh 2 is probably pretty strong in this game. So I like those two. There's 0% chance you fit them together, but alas, you might be able to do that. What'd you call it? Zadri?
I did not say anything like that, but thank you for inventing that term.
Maybe I heard you say it so fast. I like kind of you said like Zari Kadri. I just like heard it, but yeah. No, I can't even afford that with all the Colorado. I'm gonna have to do some thinking about playing this 5-man Colorado. Zari might be in the mix. Let's guarantee some goals.
All right,
and get out of here.
Who are the 3 in your stack there?
I mean, I said 5 technically. Oh, the second one, Riley Smith. He's still top power play, right? That didn't change, right?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, Smith, Malkin, and Eric Carlson. There it is.
Okay. So guarantee goal, Adrian Kempe, 6,700. He's too cheap. He's climbing up the pricing boards, but he's playing like an 8K player right now. So give me Adrian Kempe, and I'll pay 4,300 for my second one.
Yeah, he'll score on the power play, assisted by Fiala, and I'll be happy too. That'd be great. Just gonna move him over here for fun, make it look nice. Wow, just writes up 2-0 already. Interesting. I will go with. I had someone in mind. Let me look. Who did I have in mind? You know what? Let's have fun here. Let's go to all the teams. Who's been super unlucky?
Me.
By being stuck on this stream is still?
Yes.
Wow. I could go Svechnikov. This poor guy. He is 5,600. Andrei Svechnikov, 0 goals on the season, shooting like a madman.
Okay.
I'll go Andrei Svechnikov. I think he's like plus 220 or something too. I noticed he was pretty high. I thought that was strange. This guy is like 30, 210. This is 30 goal, 40 goal scorer type guy. I could be convinced.
Okay. I can't afford Jaden Schwartz, although that's a name I was strongly considering. So let me go on the Seattle side of things still. Give me Eli Tolvanen. Gord Bjorkstrand Tolvanen back in the mix. Tolvanen is, on the same power play as Jaden Schwartz. So I think there's a little bit of meat there at 3,600, especially if you're an anti-Edmonton freak, because they're pretty bad. Right now, and maybe that continues, or maybe it doesn't. So,
Eli Tolvanen. So yeah, I saved myself just enough to afford guys like Owen Tippett. I'm not going to do that here, unfortunately. I don't really want to do a same game parlay with yours. I will go with. Well, I actually have enough for. Oh my god. I'll go Tarasenko, honestly. I mean, top line. We had 12 minutes last game, though. Ugh. I just want to get out of here, too, now. I don't know. Maybe I could get a little bit creative. I was literally talking about how I don't like Ottawa, and then I'm going to pick Tarasenko. I mean, get a life, right? Jesus.
All right, thank you all.
You know what?
I'm leaving. This is absurd.
I'll go. I'll go. I'll go Mikheyev. I'll go Mikheyev. Let's go
Jesus.
with
Okay.
Mikheyev.
Oh my lord.
What? I'm sorry. I don't have it ready
I
right away.
just didn't want to spend this long here, so I gotta go get stuff done. I almost missed a 1 o'clock slate lock too. I was not expecting to be on until 1 even. So
Yeah.
thankfully
Well,
I clicked
that's
on
what
the wrong
happens.
tab and realized, oh shit, I have a minute to build a lineup. So yeah, great day.
You know what?
But
I didn't want to be on this long either. I almost said let's not even do this. So you know what? Bye, Matt.
all right. See you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Best of luck tonight. I'm at Fake Moods. DJ's at DJ Mitchell 94. And be sure to check out the Morningscape podcast. If you haven't, Tuesdays, Thursdays, we do pretty similar to this, just mostly focusing on DraftKings, given that's what's available the night before. So we'll talk to you all on Tuesday.
Yes, and then I'll just put the link. You could just close. You can just leave. I'll just put a couple links in here. I'll see ya. Player profiler, shot profile, still free. Changes coming. Again, it's kind of we're still testing and learning some stuff. The Oilers are worse than the Sabres, but like at what cost? Hold on, I gotta go too. This definitely did go on too long. We said we were gonna try to keep it to like 45 minutes. That's famous last words. Link to the shop profiler if you want to test some players. Look at some different odds. And again, like a guy like Kempe, for example, it's like if he's 2.5 or 3.5, like whatever you're finding, or if you even want to say like, I actually want to bet him for 4.5 plus 206. Again, you're not going to like find that directly normally everywhere, maybe. And like it's kind of hard to do with the peppers on underdog and whatnot, but you can kind of still play around with it and see like if it looks like a guy has better boom or bust potential. Different players profiled differently. So like Tippett, for example, last night that we went to that absolutely bailed me the hell out. Just profiled as much more of a boom bust guy, right? So like he just definitely has a higher ceiling as far as if he's being used in the right frame, they want him shooting. Other than a guy like Kopitar, for example, where it's like, yeah, he's he puts 1 or 2 on net, but like how many times is he putting 5? Like never. So it's a good tool to definitely ground yourself, especially if you're not someone that, has an R script that looks at these attempts or anything of that nature. So I'm going to get out of here too. Hour 17 mark, way too long. Hopefully we offered some value. And again, for the DFS slate, like I love Colorado. It's going to be uber chalk. Looking at the games up top, I think it's going to be very, Colorado, Edmonton, Toronto heavy. And then if you want to get different, I think you go with like, in my opinion, I think Pittsburgh, LA, or like, I mean, I think the Flames, like Matt said, won't be that owned. So like, there's some different options. But all right, I'm gonna get out of here. We'll talk on Tuesday. See ya.